This is Blue Gold News Now, your spot for current events, campus news, and everything in between. Now, live from Tower's basement, it's BNN with our hosts Alex Rubio and Marissa Day.
Good evening, I'm Alex Rubio.
And I'm Marissa Day. Coming up tonight, your introduction to BNN's newest segment, Favorite Things.
But first, let's talk about International Women's Day.
Today, Wednesday, March 8th, is International Women's Day, and the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire is celebrating with the help of Dr. Mimi Cook. Dr. Cook is a writer, scholar, and activist from Georgetown University who has written several essays on the topics of identity, education, and mental health, and has also curated a set of Asian American-inspired tarot cards that are available on her website. Her guest lecture, entitled What If Care Was the First Learning Objective, will be held in Centennial Hall, room 1415 at 5 p.m. tomorrow, March 9th. If you want to check out any of Dr. Cook's work ahead of time, you can find more information about them on her website, mimicook.com.
If you're a fan of running with friends in the cool, crisp winter air, the Shamrock Shuffle is coming up this Saturday, March 11th at 10 a.m. at the McPhee Physical Education Center. The 5K is being held and sponsored by the University of Eau Claire and looks to be a great way to get outside and get some good exercise. The race will begin on Upper Campus and runs all the way to Lower, then over the campus footbridge and follows along the beautiful Chippewa Valley River. Pre-registry runs until 11 p.m. on March 9th for $20. Online registration for the race can be found at raceentry.com, raceentry.com. If you're unable to pre-register, same-day registration begins at 9 a.m. on the 11th, located on the McPhee Indoor Track for an increased price of $25. Shirts for the race will be first come, first served, so if you want that merch, make sure you're on time. Whether you're a competitive runner looking to set up a new PR for after months of indoor training, or a casual runner who just wants to spend some time with friends outside, the Shamrock Shuffle is the perfect race for you.
Do you run, Alex?
I used to a lot. Back in high school, I was a cross-country runner. I had a PR of 17:35, but ever since getting into college, I found myself a little too busy. What about you?
Really? I think my PR on the mile run when I was in elementary school was about 17:35.
Well, I feel like back then, you know, it was kind of just walking around talking to friends for the mile, but...
I'd agree. Now, the only kind of running, or my favorite kind of running, is a good old Target run.
Yes, my favorite is actually the 5 minutes late to class run. That's
down
mine.
the hill and around the corner?
Yep, exactly.
Are you looking to get a leg up on other Viennese ball attendees? Two to Tango's Viennese Ball workshops are back this semester and begin this Saturday, March 11th from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. At these Two to Tango lessons, attendees will learn various styles of dance, including Viennese waltz, polka, swing, and quadrille. If you are not a current Two to Tango member, your student fee for this 4-hour lesson, including a free lunch, is $3. Two to Tango is offering multiple lessons leading up to the Viennese Ball, so keep an eye out for further dates and times.
The planetarium at Phillips Science Hall will be holding a series of astronomic shows from March 16th to May 11th. You can expect to learn all about the beautiful night skies above Eau Claire, as well as information pertaining to astronomy. Admission to these shows is $5 at the door, and the shows will run for about 45 minutes. If you find yourself staring at the stars at night, bewildered by the scope and complexity of the universe, stop by Phillips Hall and check out any of these semester shows at the planetarium, March through May. So have you ever found yourself looking up at the night sky?
Oh, absolutely. My dad and I used to take, I got for Christmas one year this pink Discovery Kids telescope, like a mini telescope, and it was all plastic and great. And we'd sit out in my front yard with all the city light bleed in Ramsey, Minnesota, and try to see if we could see the moon any closer.
Yeah, actually the exact same way. I think I got my telescope for Christmas as well, and we would go up to a campground, and at night me and my dad would sit out on the lawn, and we'd aim the telescope up at the starry night for hours over the summer because it's just like it's beautiful out, and might as well just take a look at the stars.
Yeah.
The only problem is when you miss it by like a centimeter, and then
Right.
everything's off, and you're not able to line up the moon anymore. But that's kind of how telescopes work. But I believe the planetarium might be a little more sophisticated
more advanced.
than our telescopes
Yeah.
at home. Coming up next, your introduction to our second new segment of this semester, Favorite Things.
And BNN reporter Ellie Elbricht has the scoop on the next UWEC Forum speaker.
In another installation to UWEC's Forum series, Jessica McCabe will be visiting campus talking all about ADHD and how we can't let it stand in the way of what we are passionate about.
During this forum, McCabe will be shedding light on ADHD and how those who have it should not let it stop them from becoming successful. This forum is being hosted in hopes of showing students struggling with ADHD that we are not alone, and that even when it feels like moments are darkest, there is always a shining light just waiting to be discovered. Forum advisor Corey Stockman shares some insight on what McCabe plans to talk about during the forum.
There's this huge stigma about people who live with neurodivergence, and how they're unsuccessful people because of their quote by society. They're flawed in essence, and that's just untrue in a lot of aspects. So Jessica McCabe really focuses on how you living with ADHD can be just as successful as anybody else, and really tries to beat down that stigma.
Jessica McCabe will be speaking during the forum in the Schofield Auditorium on March 14th at 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can purchase tickets for $2 online or at the door when you arrive. Faculty and staff tickets are $6 and general public tickets are $8. We hope to see you there. Up next, I'd like to introduce Favorite Things, a show where Alex and I will break down some of our favorite products, media, and events from the week. Our two new segments, Favorite Things and Epilogue, will alternate weeks as the final segment of BNN, so make sure you turn in each week to catch both segments as they air. Now, without further ado, welcome to Favorite Things. So I'm going to start by recapping my favorites from this week. I just finished a book, and it's my current read, so it's called One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surley, and it follows this young adult woman who just lost her mom and is going to look to find herself on their combined trip to Italy that they had purchased before her mom had passed away. And it's really such an interesting read. It's super heartwarming despite the kind of bitter-sweet synopsis that I just gave. But I would give it a 4-star read overall. It was super fun. The Italian setting kind of gives it a Mamma Mia vibe. I don't know, Alex, if you're reading recently, but that's my current fave. My beverage of choice currently is a limoncello LaCroix. It's this vanilla-y, lemony kind of sparkly soda, and I'm a big fan of all things sparkly. I just thought I don't know, it's very quintessential, feels summery. I'm if you can't tell, manifesting summer.
Trying to pull it into the winter, really just manifest it.
I'm holding on to that little bit of warmth that I have.
I don't know, the can looks beautiful, I just have to say that. It looks amazing, so I might have to try that. I also like good old lemonade. Does it kind of taste like lemonade?
It's a little lemonade. It's
okay.
If Lemonade and TV Static had a baby.
I don't think I've ever thought about the taste of TV Static, but I will have to taste it and get back to you on that.
Fruit-flavored TV Static?
You know what, maybe next week for Favorite Things. I'll try it and see if it's a fruit-flavored TV Static.
I'm rewatching The Hunger Games.
It's on Netflix.
It is.
Might as well.
Is it on TV 10?
I believe it is.
It's
I believe it is on my TV 10.
Rewatch The Hunger Games if you're bored, because winter is cabin fever. The Hunger Games is the only thing that is breaking that. It's me holding on until the end of the semester. That's The Hunger Games here.
I currently have been on a binge of HBO Max shows. So I watched all of Game of Thrones and I watched all of The Walking Dead. So I'm about maybe a decade late, but hey, it's pretty good shows. So I understand the binging.
Yeah. Are you watching Outer Banks? Because I just watched season 3. So.
No, I have not. But I might have to check it out.
That would be your next watch.
Netflix? Netflix?
Yep,
Okay, Netflix.
So,
got it.
I really loved it. Season 3 I thought it's a little different. Each season kind of changes as you go, but it's very treasure hunty. That's a lot of the premise, is a big old treasure hunt in the Outer Banks, which is actually a real place. Surprisingly, I was surprised.
It sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out. It sounds kind of like National Treasure, a little bit.
It's a little bit National Treasure, no Nick Cage, but I know, bummer. And my last one, I get Einsteins every morning for breakfast. And I just realized this week that I've gone every morning without fail. My favorite part of my morning routine is my bagel egg sandwich on an Asiago bagel. Classic block meal. So
hear me out with the bagels. Okay, so Have you ever thought, like, you know how fries and ice cream go really well together because
Yes.
sweet and salty? Now, it's going to sound crazy, but if you take a cinnamon raisin bagel and then you do an egg, cheese, and sausage patty on it, it's very good. I actually quite enjoy it. It's got that sweet. I know, I'm crazy, but I think I got it at an Einstein's Bagel when I was at the airport because I was starving. So it's very good. I would recommend trying that if they have something like that at Einstein's. Me personally, I can't wait in that line. That's way too long.
Really?
At Centennial, it's way too long.
I would do anything for Einstein's Bagels.
That would explain why it's on your favorite things.
Indeed. Why don't we move on to your favorites? I want to hear.
All right, so up first, my favorite gaming habit was Destiny 2 this week. Last week we got a new DLC, so a bunch of new content. So when I've had time, I've tried to play a little bit with friends online back home. That's kind of our go-to game, a bunch of us. My favorite cozy beverage has been hot chocolate.
Yum.
If you can't tell, it's been a little cold outside.
Really?
Yeah, just a little. So
-20, it's spring weather.
it's spring in Wisconsin. So I've been drinking a lot of hot chocolate. And then my current listens is obviously Imagine Dragons, Act 1 and Act 2. Mercury.
Obviously.
It's such good music. My homemade treats is Buckeyes. My mom sent me some for my 21st birthday. Have you ever had a Buckeye?
No. What is a
Oh.
Buckeye? Tell me.
So essentially, it's peanut butter with. My mom's gonna kill me for this, but I think it's peanut butter with condensed milk, a bunch of powdered sugar, and then you roll that into a ball, and then you dip it in chocolate, and it's
Ooh.
delicious.
Sounds
And
amazing.
I eat way too many of them over the winter. I'll have to bring you some. We should do a taste test
taste
for one of our
test on
shows
favorite
next.
things.
Yeah, a taste test on favorite things.
I love it.
And then last favorite thing, Hilltop dinner. They had steak and shrimp. It was delicious. It was really
Really?
good.
Really?
Did you get
Was
to?
it?
It was good. It was really good. Like
good.
Hilltop food has been actually really good this semester, and the steak and shrimp was just on fire last night. It was so
pretty
good.
last night. I did stop by. So,
You did?
But the bigger star of last night's meal, I think, was definitely the cherry crisp. I'm a cherry crisp girly. My
Oh,
mom
yeah.
makes cherry crisp for dessert when I'm home a lot, so it was very comforting to have cherry crisp or cherry cobbler or whatever the small dessert was, and might have taken two.
Oop. It's kind of like a comfort food a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
There you go.
For
Yeah,
Sure. Kind
no.
of like your Buckeyes.
Yeah, exactly. We both had a little bit of a sweet tooth comfort food this week. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think that's all we have for favorite things.
Yeah. If
Tune
we,
in 2 weeks to see the next segment of favorite things.
Exactly. So. There it is.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight.
Join us next week for our latest news, updates, and weather.
Make sure to check out TV10 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I'm Marissa Day.
And I'm Alex Rubio. Thank you, and good night.